about a billionaire turned trillionaire, Elon Musk. But Ellison is the son of the MAGA billionaire, Larry Ellison, and we are looking at the financial and business and political intersection at the top of the world economy and questions for the DOJ over whether this was in some way pay to play or even something unethical or illegal. I want to bring in Jay Komanduri, a veteran political strategist who has followed this issue closely. Jay, I could, of course, bring on an antitrust expert or regulator if we thought that the main point in the story was whether the DOJ's antitrust analysis on harming consumers was accurate or not. But as you know, and I think a lot of our viewers know, and as 60 Minutes vet Scott Pelley and others have said, that's not really what this story's about. What is this story about, and what matters in the Trump administration moving forward on this merger today?
Well, it's about the oligarchy striking back. You know, we've heard all about how Trump is weakened, but the reality is that he has, as his allies, the richest men in the world. And one thing that Trump wanted was control of CNN. Now, if you look at Warner Brothers Discovery, CNN is a very, very, very small part of that business. Right. But for Donald Trump, that was the his entire interest in the deal. Donald Trump and the DOJ weren't interested in who was going to be the next Batman. They were very much interested in who gets to be the CNN White House correspondent. I think that's a position that Caitlin Collins currently has, who anchors those shows, what the content of those programs are, what the coverage of the administration will be. This is something that Donald Trump believes is crucial to his and MAGA's future success, especially at a time when his approval ratings are declining. You know, when your approval ratings are declining, when things aren't going well, you can still turn on Fox and hear a lot of good news about Trump. Now, if you can replicate that on CNN and you can diminish and downsize the voices in opposition to Trump or the criticism of moves of the Trump administration, that gives Trump a lot of more power and cards to play in American politics. And that's what this deal was all about.
We had Scott Pelley, the veteran 60 Minutes anchor, up on the screen. And we can put him back up in a minute to remind people, because all of the corporate names, it's like a skit, you know. It's like Cablevision, Paramount Plus, HBO Max. You know, the point is, in politics and news and democracy, that people like Scott Pelley, who clearly had a 37-year track record, he says these new owners, the people who today are getting a bigger merger, asked him to inject falsehoods that favored the Trump administration. He says it was MAGA bias. He said it came in and he was being pressed to do things that he'd never been pressed to do in over 3 decades at 60 Minutes. That story, the Colbert story, do you see that as relevant in the Trump administration now going along with the deal? And is that then a precursor for CNN?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than relevant. I think that's an absolute precedent that has been set by the Ellisons to show Trump what they could have done, what they could do to CNN. The stories that we have heard out of CBS News will be peanuts compared to the stories that will probably come out from CNN once this deal, if this deal actually goes through. I know there's some lawsuits with California. This might not be fully signed, sealed, and delivered, but as far as the Trump DOJ is concerned, it is. And that is exactly where we're going to be heading. We're going to be heading to more incidents like the kind that Scott Pelley has seen.